Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would work on that base some more. I just thought I'd show you a little bit more texturing that was done on this guy. So it is mostly textured. I'm going to be tweaking it, enhancing it. I want to get some Kriel-like texture lights into it, which I don't really have too much going on with right now. And what I mean by that is some of this kind of thing you see on the older Kriels. So I will probably try to get a little bit more of that going too. But for the most part, it's textured. It needs a lot of tweaking and detailing and things like that yet. But I did want to get the base coat of textures on here. It's missing some in places, or, well, yeah, I'm sure it is. But sometimes with the lighting, though, it looks like something's not textured when it really is. That kind of screws you up a little bit. But other than that, it's well on its way. But anyway, moving on to this base here. This kind of a fun project. It's not a real long project. It's just kind of a fun project. So, on last video, it was brought up in comments that I didn't have Wi-Fi in here or a Pentaxa tank yet. The Pentaxa tank, I do plan on making a slot for one out in this engineering area over here, and Wi-Fi I'll probably have on either side, up above the hangar door. Once I get the hall built, so it'll have a Wi-Fi per side, just so you have a little bit better coverage area. But I've got some problems. It was right at the last part of the video I realized that I forgot to put in the elevators, and there's no room for it right now. So I need to do a little surgery here with copy and paste to this creation. So let's get started with that. So plan number one, I want to take this whole wall and move it over one block, and I will get rid of this stuff over here in the corner. We'll find a new home for all of that. But yeah, let's do this copy paste thing first. And then I got to do the same thing to the other side. I realized that this controller here is out where the wall's actually supposed to be, so that all needs to move one block over as well. So let's get this done. So I'm going to get into the N key tools. We'll go to selection. I'm just going to make a bounding box around this whole side up to a certain point here. And I actually, when I'm building, I do a lot of copying and pasting on, well, I guess it depends on the build, but there's an awful lot of builds that this happens a lot with. So, nothing new. Sometimes you just didn't, I missed something, basically. I forgot about the elevators when putting this together, so it's causing me problems now. But they're easy problems to overcome if you use some of these tools here to do it. So this would have been a nightmare if it was in survival and you couldn't move any of this. That's another good reason why I don't like to really build things in survival unless it's just for survival, and then I wouldn't really want to put much time or effort into how it looks. It would be very crude. So I'm going to do a cut right there and a paste, and then I'm going to just slide this over one block, paste it again. Now that's undoubtedly going to screw up one of the cargo extensions at the end. I think the rest of them should be intact. Yeah, but this one on this side is going to be off, I'm pretty sure. Oops. All right, 208. So it is not connected very well. So let's grab some cargo extensions and get those back in place here. Let's see, is this... Okay, that's part of a different cargo system there. So this shouldn't be too bad here. We'll just kind of fill that in. That's got to be empty. And then we can also get some more on the back side here. Let's see where we're at right now. 288. So I think it's 4 more that's needed in here. Let's put in 1, 2, 3. So we should need one more. One more. We're going to put the last cargo extension. I'll tell you what, I got an idea. Let's take one from here, put it here, and we can put one here, and that should do it. Alright, so now we're back at 320. Make sure this one's okay. And the rest of these, I believe, should be fine. Alright, so that part's done. So let's do the same thing to the other side of the base here. So we'll start there. Drag this straight across to where this room ends for now. a lot of that room area over there is going to be totally rebuilt anyway, in the back area at least. So let's take that box to there. We want to move it forward a couple blocks here to get all those cargo extensions with it. And then we got to move it back here. Stop right before where the wall is. Alright, and then let's do another cut. And paste. And slide that over a block, and we'll paste it again. Alright, so it's pretty quick doing the copy and paste thing for the most part. You get a little used to the controls. At first I was slower with it, but yeah, it's not so bad. So that's going to fix this problem. And now we've got room for elevators, which definitely going to be something that's going to be wanted in here. So since we're dealing with interior, I'm just using carbon substrate for the floor on this. And I just wanted to make sure. Oh, another problem with this one over here. Okay, I need this row cleaned out, so I got to modify this cargo extension, at least in those three. So we need to get 3 more added to this. Let's just put them, at least for now, down here. They could get shifted around a little bit more again. And when I'm doing the interior, some of these may get shifted around as well, depending if I want to change a texture or do something different there. All right, so elevators. We're going to want one going up. Ooh, this can be another problem. It needs to get to the top, but there's solar panels right there. I can't really move the solar panels around very well. So I'm wondering, and it would be kind of nice to seal this off with a block in front of it as well. So I'm thinking what's going to happen here is we got to move this elevator in 1 more block. It's going to be more of a problem on the other side. But that'll get us right up to the top of the base where it needs to go to, and then it can stop off at the farm level as well. And but I just think it would be convenient having one on this side as too. So for now, what I'm going to do is get rid of 3 more of these cargo extensions, and we'll just add another 3 down here somewhere for now. Again, it could change. See if okay, we stayed at 320, and we'll put this up here, going up to the top again, just avoiding the solar panels this time. Alright, so I think that part should be fixed up. Yeah, as in Wi-Fi, yeah, we'll get that going here in a second here, but that's the first thing I wanted to do. So let's, now that we got everything kind of laid out, all the main parts, except for the Wi-Fi and the taxi tank, and now the cooking stuff, let's start working on a wall out here. So, and turrets. Turrets is a big thing on this. So what I'm thinking about doing, at least right now, is, let's see, we're going to need a full block on either side of this elevator. And then I was thinking about tilting it down a little bit and trying to get some turrets out over here. Let's get some turrets as inventory here a second. Don't care what type they are right now, just want to get some turrets. So, optimally speaking, I just want to figure this out. So let's go 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so that is probably centered on both sides. So our outer wall is going to be right here. And I want this exactly so it can have a line of sight on both sides. So let's say, hypothetically, we had a turret in this location. So it should be able to shoot that way. And it should be able to turn around and shoot a clear line of sight that way as well. So, okay, so let's raise this one up a little bit. Go up a couple blocks. I definitely want to keep it below the top, though. So let's go like 2 blocks down from it there. And then let's reverse one and put it like this on the underside. And we can get rid of these blocks here for now. And yeah, if I can do 1 mount for 2 turrets, that would save a little bit of blocks. But if the turrets were like this on all 4 corners, then I think we're going to have a pretty good time with defense, because all these turrets could shoot all the way around it. And then you got kind of an upper position and a lower position to really give the base a good area of coverage. So next thing I want to do is just make sure that I get this next one lined up good. So I'm going to do a little cheat here. I'm going to take this out to exactly where I need it. And let's see, let's put a turret here. And on the underside, I'll have to do this on the other side of the base too, which is a little bit different. So this whole thing here is going to go away though. So all these blocks are not permanent blocks, just a quick thing to measure with. All right. So yeah, this I can't think of a better approach for the turrets. At least providing full line of sight from all directions, I think would be the best plan, especially if planning on using 8 turrets. So the same thing needs to happen on this side. So let me just I'll do another temporary line block to exactly where the center of that turret should be. Should be here and there. And then we'll have to figure out how to mount these turrets to the base or to a pedestal or something. To figure that part out here. Since this is more of a function-based base and it's all about kind of what it can do rather than what it looks like, yeah, this is a decent way to go. So now I'm putting the turrets exactly where I want them, as opposed to trying to make it work with some kind of prettiness. Prettiness is fun though. Don't get me wrong. I like to make pretty things too, but this is I'll try to make this one, of course, as pretty as I can figure out how to do. But it is still a rectangle and a pretty basic design, but I think it should be efficient for gameplay. All right, so turret positions would be there on all 4 sides. The whole turret has full clearance of the base, walls, and everything like that. So I think that part is kind of set up. Now I guess probably ought to work on a corner now here. The only thing that scares me is I know this is not playing nice with symmetry, either on one side or the other, or even on these sides. So I think I'm going to have to manually build everything that I'm doing here. All right. Well, anyway, let's work on the outer walls here. I think let's get rid of some of this junk over here, and well, those can probably stay. So let's do a little line printing method of building a wall section here. I'm not concerned about filling in these interior gaps yet. I'll do that later, and I probably will fill them in, maybe even with some like carbon blocks or something, just so you don't have those extra spaces in the hall when it's done. But okay, let's start out this base area here. What I wanted to do is come up with some kind of block formation that's kind of neat to look at least. Where it's fluctuating quite a bit. Add a little detail into it. The problem I have is dealing with concrete. I don't know which way I got like some of these blocks facing, and it makes a difference in how they texture, which is what can kind of screw you up. So hold on, I'm gonna do a test here. See if I got that rotated the correct way. Okay, it is actually. Good. So all right, and we'll try to get in a little bit of body lines here too. Not everything has to be in a formation either. So let's try to utilize some of these half blocks in the process here, and then eventually try to figure out how this gun mechanism is going to mount up here. So let's do some kind of pattern here. How about every 3 blocks we go up with a half block here? Something like this. And maybe I'll change up the back arrow. We'll repeat this pattern for a few times and then switch it up. I don't know if these are right again. I guess I'll find out when I texture it later. It'd take too long to pre-test the textures on every one of them. Okay, so we have that going on. I'll tell you what, let's reverse this here and have these come back out on this level. I'll leave like a 2 block in between there. And you know what, for now, just put that in place too. And let's see what we can do with some block work on the side here. I want to mix it up a little bit. Maybe make it look like there's some tanks out here or something. Let's see. Oh, I ran out of concrete blocks. No. Alright. Alright, so I guess we're going to do 3 of these right now. I'm going to modify this a little bit, though. Alright. Well, we got to keep all that sealed on the inside, too. So, I got that. What can we put in the middle here? Maybe something like this. That work? Maybe not. Let's try something else. Here, tell you what, we'll just put a full block on the top, and then we'll do something different on the bottom. So I'd like to, you know what, I got an idea here. On the bottom, let's go to one of these alt blocks here. This, I needed a block that has a full backside to it, basically. I didn't want any of those cargo extensions shown, but I think we can use this one, which should add a little bit more geometry formation here. And we'll change that bottom block out then too with something else. How about, yeah, well, just one of those. That'll work. Pretty simple formation, but that'll work on those. And we want to do the top here. I could try the same thing again. Kind of wanted to do something a little different on here, but it's just important to seal up those cargo extensions, not have those visible to the outside. Yeah, let's try this. Oops. Okay, and this looks pretty peculiar on the top then, in the center there. So what else could we put here? Obviously, we could run a standard round block, but I'm just trying to get something in there that's a little unique. I was just saying I don't want those cargo extensions exposed like that. But still a block in front of it, and the way the collision works in this game, I don't think a shot would land there. But it would be kind of neat to have a pipe there. Decorative wise, not really functionally wise, but you got a little something going on here. Could actually put in some kind of grate or something there too. I'll think about it. Anyway, let's get the next row started here. So we've got those going here. Right across the top here, I think. We're going to do something very similar. I'm going to try to make it look like a, well, let's go back to one of these again. And just run that straight across the top. Alright. And from here, you can actually start an angle as long as the ceiling stays above there. And we got to have another row above it. Alright, so let's try to go at a 22.5 here. Oh wait, it's got to clear that elevator too. No problem there. Alright. How's that going to line up? I guess okay. Maybe I'll be able to copy and paste some of this stuff too. Save a little time. I don't know if we want this rounded off like that. That's one thing I really have not thought about is the style of this base yet either. Like, it's probably going to be more of a human origin. Depending on how it's decorated, though, I could fluctuate with that. see what happens. Will that line up if I go this way? Yeah, it will. And then we could provide some kind of window or something up here maybe for the farm. Yeah, we can try that. Okay, so let's mimic it on this side. So we go there, and then it starts the descent. Changes the angle here out to that area, and that should eventually line up if the same thing happens over here. Clearance is good, and we'll be able to build a solid ceiling above here. We could actually come down a block right below here as well. Okay, so we got that part, sort of. Yeah, you know what? I'm wondering if I can solve this problem by moving the cargo extension, a couple of them actually. If the one that was right behind here wasn't right there, I could fill that in with a regular concrete block and not worry about the structural integrity there, or the getting popped from the side. Let's create a new formation over in this part of the base, just because. So we got this chunk, and we'll leave that recessed here, just to make a divider. So maybe in this general section here, we'll put in a thin block going straight up the wall here, and then we'll have something else that starts extending out in this area. Something different though. And then, yeah, especially if it's human, this round stuff would work out pretty good, but if it's some other race, I don't know, I guess it works out with any race really. Yeah, let's do a bigger formation here. But we'll have it come out to the same top height area at least, so it kind of, that part lines up. So let's do that, and we got a block on either side. Let's try something different. Let's put in like a curvy thing here. Just follow that formation across there. And on the back side, we can actually pop in actual concrete block there as well. Oh, that doesn't line up very nice at all, though. Oh, maybe it could. Let's just let's try to put something else above here that can line up to a thin block. Maybe like that. Yeah, maybe. Alright, and then we do something different here. And let's get this dialed in here a little bit. So we'll have one there. Let's get the starters in. So every 3. That should line up to these center beams down there. And then for here, let's go to this one so we can keep a little more interior space going with it as well. Alright, we got that. I wouldn't mind keeping that a solid right there, solid block at least. And looking for something to put in here that could be kind of interesting, make this look like some kind of framing piece, but also have something going on here. Often too, I'll try one thing and not like it and end up doing it again and with some different blocks or different way of going about it. So that is a possibility for sure. All right, let's experiment with a little glass here. Here's the thing that I got a problem with. First, the glass hit points are bad in comparison to the blocks. Even the armored windows only have 600 hit points. The non-armored windows have 150 hit points. I don't believe anything in this base when I get it done, at least stripping the parts in here, should need Sathium. Now right now it's got 10 Sathium usage. The problem, even with using the hardened glass, let me double check that, but I believe, or not even the hardened glass, I'm talking about the armored windows here, is they require Sathium. So right now we're using 10 Sathium. If I were to put in some of these angled windows here, let's flip that around like that. Let's see if the Sathium went up. No, okay, so they don't use Sathium. Alright, so that's alright then. These are viable, they're just weaker. Maybe it was the other ones I was thinking of. Let's check out the fancy windows here. Oops, let's get on base too. And let's see what these do for Sathium usage, or how would they work here too. That's another thing. Let's try one of these side pieces like that. What if we flipped it? So we could go that way. Let me just see if that increased the Sathium cost. It did. So each one of these are going to be 10 Sathium. That's kind of the thing with this base. I'm trying to keep it where it didn't need Sathium. So how much hit points do these have? Okay, so these are right up there about... Actually, they're actually better than what the average concrete block is. See, that would look nice, but it's going to ramp up the cost some. So you probably need like a good 100 Sathium for this. I don't know if that's worthwhile, but I think it'll look a lot better than those other windows in this case. Don't need to go at a 22.5 angle on these, so let's try it. They can always be cut later on. Trying to make some kind of window frame here with these pieces, and then these top blocks would have to get swapped too. And we're gonna have to put in these kind here, and I might not put them there. Maybe I'll use concrete blocks down there. Something like that. And then here, I guess we could, for now, just kind of go up like that with it. And these blocks get swapped out probably just to this one then. Okay, let's get the last ones in. I gotta see how much Sathium this is gonna cost. You know, I could cut down the Sathium cost and make this even neater maybe. What if these top ones were gone and that was also concrete? Then we're only running 9 of these, which would probably bring the Sathium cost to 100, which isn't so bad to get, even on a starter planet. And we got little windows. That should be airtight. Alright, so let's get back to this back section here. So this is still a little fuggly, quite a bit fuggly actually. And I'm just trying to give the base some switch ups, so it's not the same all the way around. But you know, of course, if I put something here, then I gotta try to make it look nice too, somehow. But if it could obviously repeat the same pattern straight across, it's just so boring. It's just too much of the same thing going on there. That's really why I'm trying to just do something different here. Let's go up at a 22.5 randomly right here for the heck of it. Would that work out all the way to the edge? Or just in this section? And maybe we do that. So it's kind of centered over this bottom thing. Could probably swap out those blocks. And okay, so we got some stuff here. Let's try to make it look techy somehow. What if we did some pipey things here on either side? We could put some deco things on top of those. And maybe put something else. Yeah, that'll look dumb. About these. Could do that. So yeah, just a little different formation there. And then right beyond there, it would follow this. So it matches up with the same blocks that are on the other side. Almost. Okay, and then I would need these here. And here. Alright, so then we got this last wall. I don't like this thin piece here, though. I wanted to cover up the cargo extensions, but maybe a different block would be a better choice. How about this here, which would seal up the back and give us some beams coming down here, like that. And over here, I guess, kind of matches the one body line going across the top, and that's probably all it needs to match. Fill that in, and I don't know, how about let's just do the good old school cheap little vent thing here. Maybe a couple like that, there, oh, and there. Yeah, and we'll just fill this in full. Now I got a little something going on there. So it fluctuates across the side. Let's see, we can't put on rigger steel with this, so I'm not sure what necessarily to texture any of this with. But let's just keep on working on this base here and not getting into the texturing right now. That's more of a time-consuming thing. I'll just temporarily fill those in. Again, some of these full blocks, especially from the inside, will probably change when the inside gets worked on. But it doesn't hurt to have them in right now. And we're going to have to seal up these doors too, so they're airtight. And obviously we're going to need a block in these locations here too, which looks really dumb at the moment, but again, interior stuff, it'll get worked out. Okay, so we got a wall on one side of the base. We also got to figure out how we're going to mount these guns here. So, what would look neat? I wish there was something that was centered. You know, like there's like thin blocks that go to, or even half blocks that go to right or left, but there's like hardly anything that centers in here. But I got an idea here. Let's try putting in these double thin blocks, which I guess have a center point like that, going around the sides at least for now. And then on the corners, so I kind of wish there was a double of this round one as well. I'd probably use it on this build, but there is not. So I think the only thing I can use are these, if I want to maintain that same formation at least. Let's try it for now. Now, if all these turrets stay the same, too, I could basically build up one, texture it, and then copy and paste it to the rest of the building and not have to do this multiple times, which I think would be helpful. Okay, so now another thing I'm going to do is add in places, like a little trim layer on the outside, probably just in carbon, just for decorative purposes, but really cheap blocks. And that's kind of what I'm looking at doing here, seeing if can make this turret look a little more interesting somehow. Maybe add some bars here or something, at least on 3 of the 4 sides. One side's going to need to mount to the building. And that doesn't interfere with the turrets. Yeah, I do wish there was something that was like had a beveled edge on 2 sides that you could place in there. That would be nice for this. Could use something else too. Maybe I'll swap that out for some kind of grate or something as well. All right, so this part I'm worried about its appearance because I just don't think it's going to be the prettiest thing in the world. Well, hold on. Let's do the one centered round thing and see if we could do something like that. No, that meets to the body really badly. I don't like that. I don't like that formation very much there. Unless it looks like it could be supported from the other side somehow. This doesn't work. Okay, so that's okay though. Let's let's use another one of these here. It's gonna be funky. And then one of these here. Okay, so okay, so let's get rid of that, and instead of that, let's put in this one. Kind of works, I guess. Not pretty. It's lightweight though. It does not interfere with the turrets shooting in different directions. So I guess for the most part it works, I guess. Yeah, I just don't like it. Kind of lightweight, I guess. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's work on one of the sides here. I'll have to think about that, and that might get altered. I just don't exactly know what to alter it to at this very moment here. But what we do want to do is make pretty around the hangar door, and get like at least this side going. And it's kind of like a base like this. It's going to be pretty plain Jane anyway because it's just a rectangle. So at least what I can do is just try to do all the walls individually and not like have repeating patterns all over the place. I did that with past bases where everything was symmetrical, and I don't think it helped with its appearance at all. So this time it's not. Now one thing, I do believe if there's a block here that these turrets still could fire a straight line of sight going across this way. So I do have that, and I kind of wanted to build this out a little bit, at least around the hangar door, to give it some looks at least. But I'll probably use, because we've got this layer here with concrete, that I can probably use a lighter, cheaper block. Not that concrete's terribly expensive, but I think this is even cheaper. So let's first do a frame, maybe a half block frame around here. So we'll come up like that on either side. And then we can rotate this around the top a little bit here. Hold on, let me see if there is a part that exists. Oh, there is in this case. I could try to keep on going with this curvy theme. Just to see what happens. It's pretty clean. And that could run across the top. Maybe if we alter some of the blocks in here too. Maybe a couple beams or something that extends out there. Probably do the same thing here and maybe there too. Build some kind of frame. Oops, got rid of the wrong one. Alright, so we got a frame. We're going to need a little ramp thing getting up in here too. Again, I'm trying not to use the better blocks for everything. And some of this is kind of nice because I like how you can texture the carbon a whole lot better than the concrete. So let's just do this. Pretty simple. Down to the floor, where the ground will be. And here we can pop in a bevel piece. Yeah, we want the other side here. Rather than going with that one, now let's try this. Yeah, never mind. That doesn't really work out too well either. So, alright. It's another area that could certainly be changed. Alright, so way in, little thingy over there. Yeah, I think for the most part that'll work. Let's do some cosmetics over here. So we got this strip right across there. Let's try to make some kind of interesting formation here that also covers the whole back side. I do get tired of doing the same formations again and again, though. I find that I end up doing that. I mean, there's a lot of options, a lot of variations you can do on this stuff, but I mean, some of these I just know are going to work. Like, I could do this, and then I could put a deco piece over the top of that, and I know it'll look decent. Just because I've done it before, though. That's the thing. And then this gets pretty old and boring, but it does work. It allows you to do a separate texture and break up the colors and add a little bit of surface detail without really affecting the blocks very much there. Could add an outer layer of trim deco over this too, or something in it. Let's try that. Let's try that here. So there's a weird angle to come into. Let's look at these. These are kind of neat because you can do a little texture light on the inside there. So if we had something like that, maybe going down to here, could put in either these or just a regular thin block around there. Get a little bit of something going on there. Let me grab some deco pieces as well. Just kind of place some of these in. So we got that there, and where was the other ones? Over on the side. Let's put in, how about these? Something like that there. That should probably work for now on that side. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the turret alone. I just want to make sure I can connect it again. And another alternative idea with the turrets would be to separate them from the building and have them sitting on all four sides. on the ground. It just would expand out the amount of flat ground that you need, or I would be half tempted to try to raise this all up, which might be a good thing anyway, because even at this size, it's not enormous, but it's still almost impossible to find that much flat ground in the game. And I'm even in a place that has a lot more flat ground than you'll usually see on most planets, and it's still almost impossible to place it. So yeah, it's something else this is probably going to need. I might have to put in some support blocks below here so I can raise this off the ground a little bit, make it a lot easier to place it in the world. Alright, so this side over here, let's do the other side. This side needs something done too. I might just, in this case, I might follow the same formation I had on the other side though, just to keep the uniformity around the hangar doors. And if I do that, I'm not going to rebuild the, well, here, I'm going to copy it there. I'll probably have to do this again at some point. Let me get rid of my cursor. And we'll just take this, since this is symmetrical itself, it can be moved really easily to the other side here. Make sure this is right. Okay. I'll just do a copy and a paste. We'll rotate it 90 degrees and move it to the other side. So like that. Okay. Fill in some of these concrete blocks. And this wall here, let's get some of those in place. Should I keep that in formation too? It's the same exact shape on that side. It is. I can't copy and paste it though because of symmetry. It can't do it. So yeah, maybe I'll just replicate it. I think I'll replicate it. Just looking at what's going on there. Pretty close. Was it? That right there. Oops. Just see, go straight across this block row, right across where the windows are. No, it's one more block in. This one was, and these were, I might have to rotate a bunch of these blocks here before one texturing. And okay, so the other part though, the other part I can copy. So probably should have textured this first, but didn't really want to get into the texturing this build. I don't know if I'm gonna, I'll do part of the texturing I think in this series, but it gets really monotonous after a bit to watch, I would imagine. So did I do this right? Did I hit copy? Not sure if I hit copy. I don't think I did. Okay, so right there, copy, paste. And rotate. Don't know if that was much quicker than just building the blocks out or not. Sometimes it's not. Alright. So again, not really going for looks, but yeah, it's coming along pretty good. Okay, so all that part was straightened out. The storage is cool. Yeah, the farm should work out. We got some windows in here. They're kind of pricey, and these windows could be swapped out for the other type, which don't require any sathium and are just generally cheaper, but a whole lot less hit points is a problem. Speaking of these things, let's get maybe a couple of those there too. Alright, so there's one more side here to do. Maybe I'll reserve that for the next video. Yeah, I'll try to complete that side and get going on some texturing. And then the interior decor, that's another step here. But I'm just trying not to make too long of a video in one segment here. This is probably long enough. Got done everything I wanted to get done. Again, I'll have to think about the turret, though. This formation is, it's not. It's just a weird place to put them on the side of a building. But having them pushed out like they are, I think, is a lot more beneficial for the base's defense. It can just basically hit all these close-up angles. The problem with having turrets, if they're like up on the top or something like that, they're good at shooting the drones. But what if, one of those landing crafts come by and drop a bunch of dudes off next to your base, and the turret, couldn't fire at those dudes, and they get up close to the edges of your base, and you've got no real good defense for that unless you get out with your gun and shoot them manually. But this way, that wouldn't work. They could come up right next to your base, and they would be in line of fire from turrets all the way along the bottom side here. And that's kind of why I'm trying to do it this way, but it's typically a nightmare, especially if you're trying to mount them to the building itself, a rectangle building, and that's the problem I'm having here right now. So I'll try to think of a better, visually better solution than what's going on here, but I do like where they're located, and that's kind of the thing. Function base, it's really about the position and everything first, as opposed to the looks of everything. But hopefully it'll look all right. I mean, I'm starting to think that I'm gonna go with kind of a human theme on this one, but I might try to veer a little bit into like a NASA look or a space administration look, kind of the blacks and the whites and the techie roundy stuff. I think that would be fairly appropriate with this, and then maybe try to dial in more parts of the body. And there's probably going to be more block work done in some of these big flat areas as well, just to add something to it. But this is phase one, just getting the walls done. And I do the method that I built this wall with. Oh, I'm missing this chunk here. It's pretty common. Anytime I have to do a wall, I typically do it the same way. Just mess with blocks, try to cover up the wall, make formations, but I've been learning over time to try to tone down how many times you repeat a formation, even if it doesn't blend or match. Like, it would have been easier, obviously, to just do this same formation across the whole side of the base, but look, this looks kind of neat. It just this kind of it just divides it up, and it's not even centered. It's not like, anything like that, but I prefer it, actually, in the end. Sometimes mistakes that I made in doing things or copying things, I liked better than what I had originally planned on doing, because of a little bit of the chaos going on here. That can add in some detail there. I guess for the time being, I'm really tired of doing this vent thing here, so I'm going to try to figure out a better formation. But that obviously works too. It's just, yeah, it gets a little sickening, a little too many vents over here and over there. But anyway, yeah, part two. So yeah, part three, I'll keep on heading, working on this thing, probably get this other side done, and kind of looking forward to doing the interior as well. That'll be a little bit more interesting, trying to make everything pretty on the inside. And I'm going to try to, something I fail at often is I don't pre-plan where I'm going to position like LCDs, and I really like to put LCDs over these things for whatever reason. I'm almost half tempted to make a new LCD, though the LCDs I've got that talk about the the 320K storage or whatever. That's great, but I really wanted to make a model that is very easily editable for putting in contents. I have like another section in there and like what's in this chest. Is this your ore? Is this your ship parts? Is whatever it might be. But that you can go in there and have the LCD like placed right at it, so it's not like you don't have to find it in a mystery in the base somewhere, and then be able to, without any codes or anything, be able to like alter maybe the bottom lines of it to put in whatever contents would go there. I think that would be just a really neat thing that I've been missing on the LCDs. I thought about it before, I just have not got around to making one to do that. But anyway, you all have yourself a great day, and yeah, I'll have part 3 maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. If not, maybe over the weekend. I want to keep on going on with this base, but I'm trying not to put out too many videos too frequently either. So, all right. Anyway, see you later, everybody.